I have no idea.
Hello and welcome. Let us know if you can hear us. We are here live from Balticon. I'm your host, Morgan Hazelwood, and it's time for, well, it's a little early for another lazy Sunday afternoon live stream, but we're here and we got the block a little early. Some of it's for setup and some of it's for letting you have bonus time with us. We brought snacks for the people who came live. We brought lemonade, we brought trail mix, we brought chips, and we brought some projects to work on. So that's where we are right now. Thank you all for coming and introduce yourselves.
Wait, so this is the pre-show so that we're going to do this again at 4:30 when the regulars
I mean, we
right?
can.
Hi, folks. I'm Doc Coleman. I write steampunk comedy adventure, and I'm here overexposed in the light to do some more editing on the Kindred of Kali to try to get it that much closer to publication.
Hi. Howdy, Sako nuts. I'm Sako Tumi, also known as Voit. I write horror, and I'm a witch, and I'm a graphic designer, and sometimes I combine those three things. Basically, I'm going to be running around like a chicken with my head cut off for like the first sprint or second sprint, something like that.
But we have extra time today.
We have time for an extra sprint today. So they're Sako nuts, are they? I don't remember ever hearing that term before.
I've run across it a couple times.
Okay. No, I think it's cool. I'm just not familiar with it.
I've heard it more on her Discord.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Discord and Witchy channel.
Yeah. So, and today I'm going to be catching up on all the social media I'm responsible for the convention we are currently at, and maybe even looking at my writing. I think my synopsis needs a little tweaking, but I'm pretty happy where my query letter is. And I'm 100 pages from the end, but I don't have the focus for that sort of long thing right now. Running on 5 hours sleep, 3 nights running. So, so that's what I'm going to be working on today.
Oh. And we have a live in-studio audience.
Hi, live in-studio audience. What are you working on today?
I'm editing a novel that I've been working on for like more than a year, on and off.
Excellent. She's working on her novel that she's been editing on and off for most of a year.
So, does anyone have a lens cloth?
Not on me.
Because I did this brilliant thing. Usually I have I'll give it a shot.
It's the sock I put over my that I put over my camera so it doesn't get scratched and transferred.
Okay, so it's a camera sock.
It's a camera sock. It's not it might have started off life as intended as a foot sock, but it's a camera sock.
Normally in my setup at home, I've got my reading glasses right next to where my computer is. I actually packed the reading glasses. I brought them here. I've been carrying them around all weekend, and I left them up in my room.
Oh no!
Because the computer rig was so heavy, I didn't have room for it. Fortunately, I also have my foldable readers, which I had in my pocket, except when I put them in my pocket last, they fell out of their case.
Oh no.
Little magnetic case opened up upside down, fell out of my pocket. I got fingerprints all over it, trying to put it back.
Yeah.
And now it's coming back to bite me.
Yeah. Oh, I have sound on. Who knew my thing had sound? Let's not.
At some point, should probably plug in to make sure that we can be heard online.
I turned off my microphone and not my speaker for a second. So if y'all at home, I'm sorry about that. I figured out what I drug though. Just for a split second. So, did we want to go ahead and do a sprint?
Yeah.
Let's do it. We have snacks. Feel free to help yourself since you attended in person. I brought extra cups and stuff too, and some coloring books in case feel like this isn't working for me today.
If you're just not feeling it, you can color.
I might end up coloring. It could happen.
Let's try to mix.
Do the thing.
Yes. Okay, so let me go ahead and share this real quick. Boop, boop. Share screen, share audio tab, select the proper Chrome tab. And let's do this. Boop, boop.
Wait for it to show up on the
Share
screen.
screen.
Andy's
share
enjoying
audio
the
tab,
Motorhead shirt,
select
Sako.
the proper
Oh,
Chrome
thank
tab.
you.
And let's do this.
Helen the Harbor is
Wait
actually
for it to show up on the
Share
screen.
screen.
Andy's
Share
enjoying the
audio tab.
Motorhead shirt,
Select the
Sako.
proper
Oh,
Chrome
whoops,
tab.
I
shared the wrong screen.
Andy,
Oh no.
oh,
Helen the
I have
Harbor
screen
is actually
section.
halfway
Screen
through.
section.
Andy's
Screen
enjoying
section.
the
Let's try that again. I swear I know what I'm doing. Productivity timer. Share. There we go. Okay. Whoops. And if I minimize it, you can't see it anymore
Yep.
because that's how that works. Okay. And
Welcome to the technical difficulty spring.
there we go.
Technical difficulties.
I'm just warming up. That's what's
Yeah.
happening. It's a warm up. Oh, that's too big. Let's make it smaller.
I like how StreamYard has kind of like made it a little more malleable. Cricket.
Ah, the number won't get smaller, and I usually have trouble making it big enough.
Can you make it higher on the screen?
Give me a second. I can do a quick edit. There we go. Save.
So
Ooh.
I always monitor both feeds. So.
There we go. Okay, that should be good. So, are we ready to get started?
Absolutely.
So, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Boom, chakalaka. I didn't hear the chimes, but we are at time. So, was anybody productive that stream?
I did some editing.
Nice.
Only about 2 paragraphs, but
Lots of revision.
yeah, finishing getting set up here and figuring out how I'm doing things, but also some of it was picking up the pieces from where I was last time,
Right.
because I'm going from pre-combat into actual combat,
Yeah.
and some of the things I've moved around.
Sure.
And
I love writing combat. That's like my favorite. It's my bread and butter.
Okay.
I shot
With the camera.
with a camera. Hi, Andy. So I have to use the sprints to run and like shoot certain events. So that's why I'm not
Yeah.
sitting
Because-
here on the sprints.
because you're the Balticon 57 staff photographer.
Exactly.
The singular.
The singular. There are a couple of photographers
Yeah.
kind of like floating around. I've been high-fiving them.
A couple of them share their stuff with us, and there's one media person, but they said they're not allowed to see their own stuff for 3 months, so we might get some of them. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh,
3 months. That sounds weird.
I would be loading pictures now if I knew it wasn't going to take like an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the potions make and take sounds fun. I bet you the props for that are. The thing is I don't have consent to like shoot children.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we feel uncomfortable using, back of kids' heads and promo stuff and the stuff we put on the website. I'm okay with, but faces of kids, it's just.
It depends. It depends on the parents.
It
say
does,
so.
but I just would rather not have faces of kids on our social media platform.
I follow.
So I want
can
to
see how it
have
would be
pictures of kids like doing stuff, but like mass photos rather than one kid in the face.
Yeah.
So my snack of choice for that sprint was the last of the first bag of taro chips.
I broke open the
Second
next bag.
They're
and
Mediterranean garlic and herb. I really like them. They're like the sweet potato chips and the beet chips and stuff. And obviously the taro chips. So
yum, yum, yum.
all root vegetables and they're sweet, delicious, and salty. So, and I brought some lemonade. So those were my snacks. Did you have any snacks?
Yeah, so your trail mix and some of your chocolate.
Nice.
I've been snack free, although I've been rehydrating with lemonade.
I should rehydrate.
Yeah,
Maybe.
the hotel is very drying.
Yeah.
So let me pop into the comments while we were sprinting. Obviously, Andy was here. Heather swung by. Hello. Heather says, I saw this and then realized, wait a second, she's still at Balticon, isn't she? We're not in an empty event room. We had a second person come in to join us. Yay!
Yay!
Joni is joining us. So that's awesome. RC Scott is here online.
Hi,
Hello. John Frater, hello. Yes, we have all the snacks. It's a snack stream. A productivity stream in which we acknowledge that we are motivated by snacks.
It's snack driven productivity.
It's snack-driven product.
Yeah. So Greg Hennessy is here. Hello and welcome. I saw you at the con yesterday. Are you just online today? Let me know. John just opened up an outline to finish.
Oh, nice.
John said also our audio is coming in good, so it's working.
Excellent.
Oh, okay.
Excellent. So that
Great.
is a relief.
Mhm.
Greg would like a copy of the picture you got of him, he said.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just gotta come here. No, just kidding.
Just kidding. I'll Facebook it to you.
Right.
It'll be cool.
Yeah. Greg said they did a single day pass
Oh,
for
okay, right
Saturday. Yeah, that makes
on.
sense.
Nice cosplay, by the way.
Andy got the 200 millimeter on. What's his shooting? The con.
The con. There's a dinosaur panel that is wildly popular. I would like to shoot that. And
John Scalzi's presentation.
that was
That was last hour.
yeah.
Right.
And actually, I got him outside of
Nice.
the,
Okay.
like before. He's been like wearing the medal proudly.
Oh, good. So he had it with
cool.
him.
He had
Excellent.
it with him.
Yeah, he said he'd be happy to do any photography we needed. He's
Oh.
the Heinlein winner this year.
Yeah, the Heinlein winner. There were lots of phones out, like taking pictures behind me.
Nice. Yeah. Is it Heinlein or Heinlein?
Heinlein.
Heinlein. Okay. I'm very bad and I will forget again, but I will try.
Robert A. Heinlein.
So Andy is also working on some editing. He got about 300 words of new content during that sprint, making me feel like a complete slacker. I got through my social media notifications, letting people know the sprint was happening and where to find it, and making sure that there were no new fires to put out. While I'm at the convention, I am running their social media, so I have to monitor the Discord and 3 Facebook pages and then Twitter and the club Twitter and the Instagram. So I'm doing a couple things. But once I catch up on that, I want to look at my synopsis and my weekly roundup.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to work on. So Nightbot thinks we should do a quick stretch right now.
Oh, right on.
Ooh.
Oh, my back.
Oh, my back isn't talking to me right now.
What's a back?
Stand up real quick.
My back feels like a block of wood, which is slightly better than having it crackling all over the place. It's like
Oh, building your religion is probably cool.
Nice.
Might shoot that.
as a panel.
Wow, yeah.
Nice.
Fairy castle in Reykjavik.
Ooh.
That could be cool.
So let's see. Andy says that he met Scalzi at a previous con, and he's a very cool guy.
He is a very cool guy. 54 years old, apparently.
Oh, wow.
I think he looks great for his age.
Right?
He looks great because of his age. I don't know what
He's got the energy.
he does.
Yeah. His knees haven't gone yet.
Yeah. Don't talk to me about knees. They're horrible design. Oh no. Hi, Wordsmith Sarah is here. Hello and welcome. And Sarah, unfortunately, her cat is not doing amazing and just made the whole house stink. His intestines are terrible. So that's not a good day.
Oh, Sarah.
And Heather is cleaning today. So that's good. So, whoop, the chat jumped as I clicked. Yes, and Andy says Scalzi is also a pretty decent photographer. He actually did weddings for a couple of years,
Oh, really?
and he used to be review music and film. So he keeps his hand in, and he's a very amateur guitar player and has created a few songs.
Cool.
Very cool.
Mostly for fun. He's like, I'm not going to try and turn this into a thing. Again.
Yeah.
This one's for me, people. I'll share it, but this one's for me. So, John has one photo of Scalzi taken with Ed, the minion, at a book reading in Brooklyn years ago. Oh, that's awesome. Sarah's stinker says that there's nothing. Sorry, Sarah says of her stinker. You're not a stinker, I promise. That there's nothing wrong with him physically, just socially.
I thought at first she was saying that about Scalzi. It's like, what does Scalzi do? But
Oh, I was assuming we were talking
I
about
thought she was talking about her cat, but now that you mention it, but
So, and I have a new mushroom mug that I wore yesterday, or carried with me yesterday when I was dressed as the
You
mushroom
wore it.
queen. It's got a little snail on it. A friend of mine made it and was selling it at a craft fair, and I was like, I just got a mushroom crown off of Etsy because I have poor impulse control.
as you do.
So Sarah says she does not know Scalzi, so she was in fact.
So must be by elimination talking about the cat.
Yeah.
Heather is also hanging out with her guys. So,
Okay, nice.
oh, and Sarah saw my mug on Instagram and loved it.
Yay.
So, I did remember why I don't do accessories at conventions. because I had the mug, I put down my phone and wandered off for an hour, and my phone is my wallet. And I was very fortunate. It was still on the table in the con suite where I left it. So I try not to juggle too many things because I can only keep track of so many things at a time.
I was going to say, that's the Renaissance Festival lesson, is that you only have accessories that you can strap to your body.
So
I'm marking my cup.
excellent. Always a good choice.
refilling it.
Ooh. So, oh, yep. Sarah says props do the same thing to her.
Yeah.
So, Greg, yes. Greg was standing next to me and asked me my schedule. And I said, let me look at wait, where is it? So we pulled up my schedule to make sure I wasn't late. And then I went looking for my phone. So yeah, I found it about 5 minutes later, retracing my steps. So
Very good.
I figured out why I didn't hear the chimes.
Because your computer's muted.
Because my computer sound is deafened.
Yeah.
Yep.
Muted is talk, right?
Yeah.
Deafened.
Yeah.
So hopefully they heard the chimes. I should have probably waited a couple seconds.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it still had all of my ID and like cards and stuff in it. I don't think there was cash in it anyway.
Yeah.
I need to get cash for the room people because I threw a party, so I need to tip.
Oh, for housekeeping?
Yeah.
Or housekeeping.
So
For housekeeping! No.
oh, so Joni, what are you working on today?
I actually am trying to get the motivation to finish a little story. I thought it'd be so cool to have make a little graphic novel.
Yeah.
And I realized I have to write the story anyway because you can't draw something you don't know what's happening.
Right. Tell us, are you a graphic person who's done a webcomic?
Or a graphic novel.
Or graphic novel. I am actually doing a Kickstarter right now with my webcomic, which I worked on for 8 years.
Time is limited. Act now.
Yeah, 4 days left.
4 days left.
Hotaru Omnibus.
Yes.
So everything, all the concept work, all the fan art, not all the scripting, it's just like a sample of the script. And like all condensed into one book. You can get it in digital form or in print. Actually, if you get it in print, you automatically get a digital version. So
You don't have to download it, but it's there.
Indeed. We reached the first stretch goal, so you get stickers with every order. And we are nefariously close to our second stretch goal, which is a poker deck featuring characters from the webcomic.
Nice.
So my October will be spent like making the art for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Provided I actually,
We hit there.
hit
Yeah.
that line.
So
Apparently I'm
right. So it's about a person who's turned into a vampire and dealing with the politics.
yes. Japanese American firefighter turned vampire and then thrown into the proverbial wood chipper. That is vampire politics.
Yeah, I can't remember all that. I just go with the short version
short
and
version.
you do the detailed version.
Yes.
John says that is a very graphic description. And Andy says, I'm a graphic person who's made a very graphic horror novel.
I have a zombie book that is definitely horror.
Okay.
Definitely. And one of these days I'm going to draw it, but I'm going to get through this fairy tale before I do that. So I'm about halfway done with the fairy tale. It's only taken me 3 years. But yeah.
There's a certain something about when the short description involves throwing somebody into a wood chipper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you know that Heather Dewey used to be in one of the things she used to do in one of her former lives was being a photographer's assistant?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Me neither.
That's super rad.
So, yeah. And Greg asked me what is cash. And I said, it's what I gave the bell guy who took 2 loads to get all this stuff out of my car because of the party last night.
Yeah.
He
was a pro, though.
Yeah, he
Tetris the
Yeah.
heck out of that.
He
stuff.
Oh, these
said
guys are good.
he said he could do it in one trip, and we're like, And so we open the trunk, and he's like, I got this. And then I keep unloading the back seat and unloading the back seat and unloading the back seat. And he's like, ooh.
Maybe I don't got it.
If he'd known everything ahead of time, we would have kept the two wheeled suitcases off it because we could have pulled them and put the other stuff. But he'd snugged everything in that if we pulled them out at that point, it would have been a full reload.
Yeah.
So we had to come back for like 4 boxes.
Mhm.
He could have done it in one trip.
He could have.
Coulda.
It was so
He
close.
sabotaged it.
Yeah. So Andy says, all hail the photographer's assistant. He's lugged light stands and soft boxes in his day.
Yeah.
Right on.
So
Hold the bouncer. Hold
Yeah.
the
And-
light bouncer.
This year I've been my own my own porter, as I ended up having to bring a dolly with me in order to accommodate my books for my
yeah.
autograph setup.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like I've got the dolly, I've got I'll just stack it all up myself,
Yeah.
and I don't have to worry about grabbing a porter. And it worked really nice
I've
coming in.
never grabbed a porter before, but my car was filled to the ceiling. Sako had 3 bags at her feet. Yes, I have a little hatchback, Chevy Sonic hatchback, but it was to the roof. At some point, you're like, I already can't see out the back, so we went ahead and threw the balloons in.
Well, some hotels you will go up and they'll just have the luggage cart there for you to grab.
Yeah.
This hotel,
Yeah.
porter's coming with you.
And they're
you
smaller. And they're smaller
They may be, yeah.
than the ones we used at Imaginarium. That was smaller, definitely.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah. So I guess when you have a porter, they get more tips if they do more loads. Whereas they need it back if you're doing it yourself.
Yeah.
So they want you to do one trip.
I don't know.
That's
a
my
balance,
theory.
There's a balance in there somewhere. It may also depend on the size of the elevators.
May depend on the size of the elevators. Yeah, that's a good point. I wasn't even thinking about. So anyway, I was thinking about eating some chocolate. So why don't we do a sprint? I mean, we've been here for a while chatting. Why don't we do a sprint? In case you notice something weird on my arm, I have a Balticon
tattoo.
temporary tattoo. Boom. So the for sale at the fan table, but the people who made it all the way through the First Timers and Friends tour got a freebie. Just the little one. They have larger ones too.
Actually, I wanted to take this moment before we go into the next sprint.
Yeah.
Last week you were talking about how working on your laptop, you just didn't have enough screen room to do all your things. And now I actually have a chance to be on camera with my laptop and my 2 extension screens. And you can see how big these are.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I got scammed trying to buy one.
Oh, really?
No,
I
that's so
got a
frustrating.
package full of toothbrushes.
Oh, wow. I think, were you able to
For-
return it? No.
Oh no,
Oh,
no.
okay.
That's
So
not
I have
cool.
a lot of toothbrushes
No,
and no tri-screen
I
attachment for my laptop.
ordered this off of Amazon, and actually when I ordered it, the first one that came up, I got it out of the box and then found that it wasn't compatible with
With your laptop.
my laptop. It was compatible with the previous generation of
Yeah.
Macs, but I've got an M1 Mac, so I needed a different model. So I sent it back. I exchanged
Yeah.
it to Amazon and reordered the correct model, and everything worked fine. So
Nice.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So John says he had to drive 2 yowling cats to the vet last week, and he would much rather lug a car full of cargo. Me too. I was not complaining. Sako's the one with no leg space.
Indeed. But I have midget legs, so
We made it work. We
we made it work. As long as I can take off my shoes.
The worst I've ever done in a car is a friend of mine and I were at a pet expo, and we got a 9-foot tall cat tree with real trees. So like the branches were like that and diagonal across the back seat of the car.
Oh God.
I was like leaning against the window so it could come up against me
okay.
for a 45-minute drive.
Oh Lord.
So
So funny cargo stories.
okay.
just because we've
Bring
started on
it.
this.
Bring it.
My wife and I were with a friend, and we were going somewhere. I think it was something on Free Cycle that he was going to go check out.
Yeah,
And
sure.
He went and looked at the thing, wasn't really interested in the thing. And as we were leaving,
Uh-huh.
we're going along, we see a dinette set on the side of the road.
Come on in.
And
The productivity.
Yes. And snacks.
Yay!
hey,
Take a seat.
take a seat.
We are live on camera right now on this side of the room.
Yep.
So just so you know.
Okay.
Photo.
But we're driving along. We see this dinette
Mhm.
set, and
Okay.
the friend who was driving had basically just moved into a new apartment,
Oh wow.
and so he needed a dinette set.
Yeah.
We stopped, we got out, and we looked at it, and it was like, it's in perfectly good condition. It's missing one chair, but everything was fine. It's like, and we said, "Oh, hell with it!" And we packed that sucker up. And we packed it into his minivan, which meant that my wife no longer had a place to sit.
Yeah.
So she ended up riding back to his apartment, kind of scooched up on top of things next to all the chairs.
I've had a Penzic trip or 3 where I was crammed in with the stuff. So like
Oh.
7 hours of
Oh my God. Because your parents are Penzic people.
Yeah.
well, they were.
Were. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was definitely not.
Our
something-
head of registration this weekend had to go back for her dad after unloading the car because they ran out of space.
You could have strapped him to the roof. No.
She's got a few kids, so car seats are not as squishable as one might hope. So anyway, we were going to do a productivity
We're gonna
sprint.
do a productivity
How about that strength?
So let's see, where'd that tab go? Okay. So welcome. We have a couple of people who came in. We do 23-minute productivity sprints because it's 2023 and I'm easily amused. So if you brought a project, work on it. If not, we have coloring books and pencils and snacks. So we're going to get started in 3, 2, 1. Boom. And And we're back. Hello and welcome anybody who joined. We had a couple new people here in person and a snack drop off. And Sako returned from taking some photos with her art from the art show. Can you show it to us? It's so pretty.
Ta-da.
Ooh. So, Andy had to pop off. He got, oh my gosh, he got 779 words written / edited this time. That's awesome. That's a great sprint. I was on a sprint like that.
Yeah. That is a phenomenal sprint.
So,
Yeah.
And RC Scott said hi to Sarah and let us know that they finally published some stuff. Yay! I didn't know. Tell us what you published, RC.
Did you publish your Substack? Question mark.
I don't know. So I might have forgotten the timer a little bit because I forgot my laptop is deafened right now because we have people in the room and I didn't want echoes. So let's see. Sarah, checking her dress some more because she lost some weight.
Oh.
Hopefully it's something you wanted to do and not because you're not feeling well. So I'm super excited for you though. So Sarah said she was trying to help, but it didn't. Yeah, I was on the wrong tab.
Okay.
So that was on me. I knew we had like a minute and a half and I was like, oh yeah, I can do this while I'm waiting. And
Look away from the screen.
Yep.
No.
So, oh, Sarah said she did want to lose some weight, but it went faster than planned because she got a really bad infection. I hope you're feeling better now. So,
And I hope it stabilizes in a healthy way. Then now that
Yay.
the infection is dealt with.
she is well now.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good. I'm glad that you are doing better and that you're achieving your goals even while getting better. So that's always complicated feels, I think.
Mhm.
So, what did everybody get done on their sprint? We'll go ahead and start in the room. Clearly, we talked way too much. We talked about craft and all sorts of things that the people online missed. But what did y'all get done in the 5 minutes we left you alone for?
I added more to my chapter that I'll be added later.
Nice. Okay.
I think I got a couple hundred words in.
Nice.
I had to work out before I started.
That's
Wow.
pretty solid. So we got some editing and we got a couple hundred words in.
I deleted it.
Oh, one word.
Sometimes that's important.
There was
Sometimes
one
less
word.
is more.
One word deleted. Did you do work on any projects or were you just chilling?
I'm archiving. I have a really bad habit of when I'm researching a topic, like opening a million tabs. So I just archive some tabs,
Okay.
according to tags for future world building.
Awesome.
So you were murdering tabs.
So if you couldn't hear that online, one of our attendees here was archiving tabs from their world building research so they can find them later and so there's not a million tabs open. What's your name?
Kimberly.
Kimberly. Thanks to have you
Nice
here.
to meet you.
So, and I'm Morgan, and this is Doc and Sako. What about people online? What did y'all get done? Did you get anything done?
With the snack.
Besides Andy.
Andy.
Right? Andy's putting us all to shame.
Uh-huh. He did like 2 sprints worth of work so that he could dive off.
Right. He's not even here to hear us mock him.
Mock.
So, and I did get up and get my chocolate. I had 2 of the dark chocolate and 1 of the medium dark chocolate in the blue. And we had a guest swing by, drop off wafer cookies, and then leave. And so I ate some of the chocolate wafer cookies. We're a snack fueled stream. So I try to like drink water and eat healthy. And then when my writing gets stuck, I found snacking will make it start moving again.
Chocolate is healthy.
And sometimes you just gotta lean into your process, and apparently it works. So I'm stuck eating snacks. My life is suffering.
It's all like antioxidants and stuff.
Right. I'm sure the Doritos have them too. I'm saving these for the next sprint. They're the Cool Ranch ones.
Because carbs are brain food.
I mean,
That's what you need.
it's true. I forgot my toast light. So
Oh.
I have a little light that says toast that looks like toast in a toaster that I use at home, and I flip it when we go live, so my roommate knows that the camera's live or the microphone's live, and then I usually remember to turn it off when we stop in between. But yeah, so let's see. Right now, Sarah online is trying to focus on rolling with the punches in this human life right now. She has honestly no idea what happened during that sprint, just spaced all the way out.
Don't feel bad. We don't know what happened either.
Yeah, I'll try and send the wafer fairy your way next time. So, and Heather was working on cleaning and vacuumed. So,
Sweet.
That sucks.
I mean, oh right, because it's a vacuum.
Yes.
I see what you did there. I'm picking up what you're putting down. So, I did not nap at all during that sprint though. So,
Do you often nap during sprints?
no,
Good.
no, I don't.
Let's see. I went and photographed.
Yeah.
I went and photographed the dinosaur update
Yes.
presentation, and I got my art, and I'm addressing my marketing for my Kickstarter.
Yay.
I am again nefariously close to 3,000, which would be my next stretch goal.
And that's the poker cards. What's
The
that?
poker cards,
Yeah.
And now people that I don't even know are
Yay.
pledging, which is great.
Well, it's always good when people you don't know are supporting your Kickstarter. Because that means your audience is growing.
I teared up during my own panel at the virtual panel. Are you a real writer now? They've told me that I am, and we determined the difference between writer with a lowercase w is just anyone who writes something. A writer with a capital W is someone who writes something and finishes it and lets somebody else look at it. And an author is somebody who has made money. And a professional author is someone who can pay at least one bill with the money made.
That is actually a really good breakdown.
So I thought, and they told me I was a real writer with a capital W, which was super exciting. But the part where I teared up is when they asked what we wanted out of external validation. I'm like, obviously I want to sell. I want that external validation from a publisher that my work is good enough. But what I want is someone I don't know who isn't a friend of a friend to come up and say to me that my work meant something to.
Ditto.
Yeah, that's like
Ditto.
the dream right
Yeah.
there. So I'm getting all like, I don't know why. I'm just very excited.
That's very valid.
So
I haven't quite had that moment yet, but
that's the dream, isn't it?
it's definitely the best part is when somebody comes up and tells you that they really love your book.
Yeah.
And when I was setting up for my autograph session yesterday, I had a guy come up and he thanked me for writing Barrels of Prague. And he told me that he's always been a strict sci-fi guy, hard science type thing, and he never looked at steampunk before.
Yeah.
But something made him, maybe that's that staring cover right there.
Right.
Something made him take a chance on it, and he read it, and he absolutely loved it. And then he went and bought 2 more books. So
That's awesome to share with friends.
well, he bought the short story collection and one of the anthologies
Gotcha.
that I'd done.
Okay.
But it's
Going from hard sci-fi to steampunk comedy adventure,
exactly.
stretching his genres.
open possibilities to new things.
Yeah.
We'll get him to fantasy and nut.
Right. So, we have a new person from Twitch. Hello. The fan fictioneer guy entered the room, wondered what this chat is about.
Writing.
As they trip on their cute slime familiar, and rebound off the follow button straight into a face plant on the lurk button. We're doing productivity sprints. Usually we do them from home, but right now we are at Balticon in Baltimore, Maryland for the weekend. It's a 4-day celebration of all things science fiction and fantasy. And we're doing 23-minute sprints where we're eating snacks and occasionally working on our writing projects. And one person is doing vacuuming and cleaning from home. And then we talk about writing and the craft and how we're doing and how the productivity sprint worked in between for totally about 20 minutes. Except we can't tell time. So that's what's going on. Thanks for joining us. So, speaking of the vacuuming, Heather's, who just finished, her dog gets super stressed out by it, she said.
Oh, sure.
And she just wishes, Sarah's like, too bad we can't explain in dog, it's not going to hurt you. My cat will hide from the vacuum cleaner, but I went outside to hedge trim a corner of my yard that had gotten overgrown with brush. And I let him hang out with me because it was fenced in and he wasn't running off. Mm-hmm. And he started running through the hedge while I'm trying to trim. And it's like, where's the cat? Trim this way. Where's the cat? And the hedge clipper is way louder than a vacuum cleaner. I don't understand. So
different frequency?
Maybe? Outside. I mean, definitely outside. So
I heard a guess.
I just learned that people like to binge my comic.
It's true.
So, right after I launched my Kickstarter, my statistics went pow.
Nice.
And
because they want to know what they're buying.
And 2 new subscribers.
Yay.
Which is great because I'm not making new content, but they want to at least bookmark.
Yeah.
The thing. I also got an email from a guy who was like, "Is this the thing is this Eternity Hotaru?" And I was like,
yay.
Yes. So it was nice to be recognized by someone I don't know on the interweb. Mm-hmm. So thanks to the people who actually give a shit.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Are we ready for another sprint?
I don't even remember what I'm doing.
Heather says, can't wait to see you in September.
Absolutely.
And the fan fictioneer guy says, how often do fantasy writers enter your streams?
All the time.
Really?
New ones, maybe a couple times a month. But we definitely have some regulars, and we have some new people here behind the camera who we are not putting on camera because, they can pop around if they want to. But it requires standing up, and we are a lazy productivity sprint. So, so let's go ahead and do another sprint. And this time I will put the...
We'll actually put the timer up for the whole time. So follow it. So people
can watch and learn and all that exciting stuff.
No, I have comments on my last page.
Yay. So, I already started it. Wait, let me start that over again. We weren't ready. Stop. Okay. Okay, get ready. In 3, 2, 1, boom. One day that will get old.
One
And we're back. So that was the end of our sprint. So what did you get done?
What did I get done?
I actually got through several paragraphs of editing, doing some revisions on my combat scene. Some of it is adding new content in to better stage things.
Nice.
Some of it's restaging where the people are.
Right. Okay, cool.
I visited the hotel room so I could drop off the art and the camera. So I think I'm officially clocked out for the time.
Ooh.
I think. So now I'm just making hums and haws at the internet.
Oh. How about in here? How did we do? I'm gonna repeat y'all for the audience, but
Yeah, I got through. I was adding in a section, and I finally got through that chunk I was adding in and then back into the
nice,
editing part.
nice. Desdemona added in a section and then got back into the edit portion.
I wrote very little new text, but I read back over about 10 pages, made some cuts and edits.
Okay, okay. Tanya, right?
Yes.
Tanya read back over 10 pages and made some notes and got through. 10 pages is really good for a single sprint. So it sounds like it's reading pretty clean. Yay. Joni?
I wrote a whole 150 words.
150 words compared
Nice.
to the sprint where you deleted one. I mean, sometimes it takes a little while to build up some momentum. And you have been going hard this weekend with all the cosplay and stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard to get back in like the focus, calm, where was I mode. And I totally get that. Yeah. So how did you do?
I have only opened 2 more tabs, but
Okay.
I closed 5, so I can
And you're Kim Bailey?
Yeah.
Kim. Okay. Kim got through 2 more pages of world building tabs and got to bookmark them. So awesome. Did you get it? What did you just finish doing, or are you just hanging out?
I just got here.
That's fine.
Welcome.
So,
Yeah.
nice.
Hang out, keep track of my big sister, make sure she doesn't get lost.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Is there someplace we should return her if we find her a little underground?
You can just shout my name really loudly.
Okay.
Yeah, like a soggy cardboard box.
Okay, popping online, Patrick Hopkins. Hey, Patrick. He wrote a 50-word story for a free paying contest.
Those are
Nice.
the most.
Yes, link it in the chat, please.
Oh, wow.
So, Sarah, in honor of our snacks stream, ate a blueberry muffin.
Oh, yeah.
Quality stream activities there. And sorry, fan fictioner guy, I'm not really sure what AutoMod was working with. I thought I turned it back off because
No,
AutoMod's
I
weird.
saw it pop up on the Twitter stream.
Okay.
He used the word junkie/enjoys, saying his main character is a battle junkie who
Oh.
enjoys quests for taking down monsters, and it highlighted junkie/enjoys and said that was bullying, and it's like,
Thanks, Twitch.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Somebody was helping me out after a spam bot and turned up the level
AutoMod.
on the auto mod,
Mhm.
and it has been questionable. So I am sorry about that.
Yeah, and I apologize because
Yeah.
I wasn't monitoring Twitch. It's called.
You were being productive.
I was trying.
So we do try to mix it up and I got I'm working on my weekly roundup email, and I got all the links for my YouTubes and all the links and the link from my podcast and my blog links and my upcoming events and what I've been reading and that. And now I'm working on getting through the new works by previous guests, including somebody's Kickstarter, which is what. So if you could link that to me so I can put it in here.
Got it.
So that's what I did during that sprint. So I am not going to make it to my synopsis today, but I did catch up. So did we want to do a short sprint or did we want to talk writing craft?
I think craft sounds amazing considering we are at Balticon.
So why don't y'all tell us what y'all are working on then? So we'll start with Joni and put her on the spot.
Well, I said it'd be cool to make a graphic novel.
Okay.
And I'll include all my favorite things, which is like aliens and fantasy.
Okay.
But I'm not like a horror person or like and I think a lot of writers are good. Like I enjoy a lot of writers.
Yeah.
But like I get kind of like down and sad with science fiction because a lot of things like dystopias and
Right.
everything's going wrong and AI took over, we're all gonna die, and
Yeah.
these people took over, so those people died. I'm like, oh man,
Right.
this is kind of really sad. So I wanted to go for something happier,
Yeah.
where the essential core of it is not centered around people dying,
Yeah. I hear
Right.
that.
Right?
but there can still be fun. The conflicts are like, oh, there's a fight, but it's like, oh, it can be a misunderstanding. I don't need everyone. I don't want people to die. I know
Yeah,
it's
no.
like so repetitive, but it makes me so sad reading stories. I'm just like, oh man, they're not gonna make it. Oh, he's gone.
I can relate. I'm actually working on a fairy tale graphic novel because after writing the zombie book, like I was like, I'm still a good person. And so I was like, I need to do something family friendly.
Right.
Even though I'm a horror writer, like a horror
Yeah.
artist,
Yeah.
that's my jam. I wanted to do something that could surpass all languages. So no dialogue. It's all.
Oh wow.
There's no text.
Oh,
Everything's
wow.
in pictographs.
Sure.
And
So it's the IKEA instructions of horror.
absolutely.
I'm sorry, you just left it open.
Not a horror, but of fairy tale.
Yeah. For those online, Joni said that she's working on the plotting of a graphic novel that is less angsty and dystopian than most of the stuff out there right now. Because, there's only so much of that you can really. And I don't write dark, so I totally get it. I keep reminding myself that I need to be meaner to my characters and that
Some
the
people
first
are very good
solution
at
shouldn't fix everything.
Some people are like, yep, and then he took him away. I'm like, oh. I understand why, but I'm not doing it.
So my favorite thing to do when on the road is I ask myself, what is the worst possible thing that could happen right now? I figure out what they want and what would get in the way of what they want. And like that question,
Mhm.
like truly the worst possible thing usually is the best like plot point, best turning point.
So I think part of why I started to shy away from that is the first time I finished a novel, it was 130,000 words.
Well,
And I was like, I just pencil dropped when I stopped the story arc because I'm like, this has got to stop sometime.
yeah.
And so now I get worried that if I go in that dark direction, I'm going to have so much plot, I'm going to have too much story. And now my stories are too short or like barely long enough and have room to grow. Like I have my space fantasy. It's 90,000 words, but it's adult space fantasy with 3 points of view. It can definitely push closer to that 120 mark
Absolutely.
because you get more words for world building and 10 to 20,000 words for each additional point of view character. Otherwise, you're not doing them justice. So it's pretty light with it at 90,000.
I mean, is it bad that it's at 90,000? Because I mean, I thought
It's in a comfortable spot.
Like it depends,
but-
like, on like what you want to do. Right.
Right.
Some people appreciate like, oh, you got to your point. You didn't take like
Right.
to tell me about
Yeah.
this room.
It's
I'm
a
not gonna read
space fantasy. So, I think it's okay that, it has a happy ending and, if you follow the rules, things go well. Like that's, the trope I'm leaning into. It's one of the Baba Yaga stories is one of the main storylines. So, but with all the points of view, it might feel a little light, some of the stories are much lighter than others. And, maybe I could do more with that. I don't know. But I think I'm getting ready to query it, and we'll see how it goes. And if it doesn't find a home, then I might revisit that. But I do know that, for sci-fi fantasy, 80,000 to 120 is where the traditional publishing looks for, especially for debut novelists. If you have a well-proven record, you can get away with a lot more. But getting your foot in the door is that struggle. And so I think when they see how many points of view it is, they're going to think it might be a little light. So I don't know. I'm speculating.
And I totally get that. And I write like urban fantasy / supernatural horror.
Yeah.
And my sweet spot is usually 75K. So it's like, I like to wham bam,
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Like just get to the meat of things.
Yeah.
And so I don't do a lot of purple prose. I'm more.
I was trying to be lyrical with this one, and I think it works.
I think the lyrical stuff worked, but some of your beta readers didn't agree. They were wrong.
So some of them didn't, but that might just be the subgenre is not for them.
Yeah.
Roger that.
So, and I did actually lighten it up some. I'm trying to keep the once upon a time really feels for the first paragraph of each chapter, and then get into the story part. Because, it can be a little much to have it for the full story. And it doesn't stay in that voice. But my roommate is a graphic designer and a UX designer. It's like, just put it in italics for that first paragraph where you're setting each chapter, and then the transition won't be so jarring for the reader.
Absolutely.
And she was one of my beta readers, actually. So, and she loved the story. And that means I can randomly bounce ideas off of her and be like, listen to this line I just put in at the place with the stuff.
Yeah.
So nice.
I would love to have an alpha reader.
Yeah.
And
mine is really busy, so I have to work around her schedule. I cheat. My identical twin is my alpha reader. So she's her undergrad was in English, so she's done a lot of critique, and she just graduated with her MLS, her master's in library science. So also what we like to read, our Venns overlap almost like this. And we're coming from the exact same, context and background and everything. So she can tell if I said what I meant to say, but she can't say if I didn't explain it well enough for people outside of my head.
Yes, but you know that if she reads it and she doesn't understand what you're saying,
Yes.
you did not express it well.
Yes. If she's confused, I got to step it up. So, does anybody else use an alpha reader?
What is an alpha reader?
So an alpha
I am a
reader.
poor person at home, just like,
Yeah,
just tell me. And I'm
No.
like, it's okay. I'm like, you can't just say that it's okay for everything you see.
So an alpha reader is an early reader, usually for things that are not polished and not ready to go out to a full beta reader. Some people use alpha readers for opening chapters. Where do you think I should go from here, as someone to soundboard to bounce ideas off of. I use it just as I do my rough draft, and nobody looks at that except for me. And then I read through it and I make sure it's coherent and follows a plot and that there's no major gaps. And then I send it off to my sister. And after she reads it and I put in her feedback, that's when I reach out to beta readers.
I don't think that there are any really hard and fast rules for the difference between alpha and beta. What I use
We were talking in the last panel
in the
about
last panel we brought up.
having a panel about alpha readers.
But
Sorry.
as I said in the last panel, and I'm saying again here for all the lovely people online, the definition I use is the alpha reader is the person who gets to see the story while you're writing it.
Yeah.
So their feedback is very immediate, and it can change how you progress in the course of the story, and may change the direction that the story goes. I don't necessarily have an alpha reader, but sometimes I will get stuck and I will talk I will talk story points out with my wife, and she gives me suggestions, and that will change it.
Yeah.
Definitely change the direction that a story
Yeah.
goes in.
Yeah. I definitely talk things out with my boyfriend, and he won't read my stuff. He read like a chapter, and he's like, the voice. He was reading my YA fantasy, and he's like, the voice is just too young for me. That sentences are choppy, and I just can't really get into it. I like the story; it's just not my style, and I respect that. And his main advice is all stories need more iguanas. The iguana lobby is very underserved, and I mean, we're really dropping the ball on that.
We just know he's being paid off by big iguana.
You quite literally include an iguana.
Yes. And I had an iguana sunning on a rock inserted, and he's like, that's just fan service. That's not making the iguana central to your story. And I'm like, I made it in the religion a good luck sign when you see an iguana sunning themselves. So, I mean, I don't know what his problem is.
Sometimes I bounce ideas off of my mom.
Okay.
Because she is also a writer.
Yeah.
Really, she role plays by herself.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Well, her write-ups
structure.
are really good.
No, they are. We play the same systems, and we kind of are inspired by the same kind of stuff. So a lot of times I'll be like, this is the problem that I need to solve, and she will come up with like multiple answers for me to choose from, which is kind of nice. Recently, she has been loaning my. I gave her a copy. Actually, I gave my dad a copy of Hope's Chest because he supported me through the whole process. And for one, she read my book.
Your mom being supportive?
And she's loaning it to her nurses. She brags about my book to her nurses.
That's cool.
So I'm
Is this
like,
out of character for her?
yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Her mom does writing sprints with herself and does how many words in a day? And she's like, how do normal people not do this much?
She laughs at NaNoWriMo.
Yeah.
Because that 50K is like a good day.
Yeah.
She.
Yeah.
So she writes. I dare say like 150,000 words is like a drop in the bucket for her. So like that's a weekend. So I invite her to my games because like her problem solving is very interesting, but she is also a diagnosed sociopath. So sometimes like interacting with other people, she's a little bit of a robot, and my mom's a character. So
Sounds like your mom's a cast character.
Yeah. So like, but the alpha aspect, basically I don't tell her the whole story. I just present the problem, and she gives me answers. So that's everything is out of context,
Right.
right? So in a way, it works better that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and beta readers are usually the first audience after you finish the story, maybe revise it a couple times, and you got to the point where you need feedback from other people's eyeballs as to how well the story reads and if it makes sense. Those are the people you usually call beta readers.
So there are 3 kinds of people that I can script to be beta readers.
Good script.
They are
Course.
There are
Bride.
role players who
Yeah.
play in the system that I wrote around.
Sure.
People who read my genre, people who don't read my genre. So, and I come at it from more of a craft standpoint. Pacing, and I like to think my pacing is pretty good, ?
Okay.
But like I pay a lot of attention to it.
Thank you so much for hosting.
Thanks for
this.
coming.
All right, thank you for coming.
I'm gonna go grab dinner real quick.
Understood.
Very good choice.
So yeah. So generally there's 3 types of people you get advice from. The alpha reader is an early reader. The beta reader is someone who generally reads, who might be a writer, might be a reader, might be a teacher, might be anyone in the world.
But it's definitely someone you get good feedback from.
And someone who can read. I mean, maybe they're listening on audiobook if you know, and that's totally fine. Sometimes it's easier when you're listening. But they have to be able to listen, you know, track through the whole story. And then there are critique partners, which are usually another writer who's coming at it from the craft perspective. And you usually exchange projects, like you're helping them with theirs and they're helping you with, because critique partner, you know, so.
Never came across anybody.
You can find them in some writing groups. Sometimes critique circles, you can like poach one of their members if you find there's someone whose feedback you really resonate with. So you go and you see who, you know, gives you the type of feedback and really understands your voice, and then be like, hey, can you work on this outside of, because with a critique circle, you usually do 1 chapter a week or every other week or once a month. And, you know, you're not really going to get the pacing from that. And I worry most about my pacing. I like my voice. I like my story.
And some critique groups are very, very good, and some critique groups can turn toxic because people start focusing on finding all the problems. So they get to be very negative about a story.
Oh, instead of like the compliment sandwich.
Yes.
That is supposed to come with critique.
Some people approach critique as, I will find all the flaws,
and some people are coming at it from a very literary, they just got out of English classes, you know, let's go buy the book, and that works. And the very purple prose where it's very descriptive and like analogies and stuff, and that works for some genres, but it doesn't work for others. And if they don't know your genre and they try to apply all the rules that your genre doesn't necessarily follow, your voice doesn't necessarily follow, then, you know, they're just not going to be a good fit because they're looking for a different voice, a different type of story. So, but because they were taught it in class, it's right, and they're gonna, you know, rip your thing to shreds when really they're just a bad fit for the story. So when I find a critique partner or a beta reader, I give them an opening chapter and I see if their feedback and my story really mesh. And if I don't find that much value, I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for helping me with my opening chapter.
And we're done.
End of sentence.
End of sentence. Yeah.
And that way you can also tell if they're going to respond regularly and how fast they got through it and that sort of thing. Because some people are like, I'd love to. Chirp, 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 chirp.
Yeah. So I'm beta reading. Well, not beta.
I've ghosted on my dad several times. But then again, in my defense, he's used me as an alpha reader, like sounding board for some stories. And then I asked him about the last one we talked about, and he's like, what? Yeah. I'm like, you didn't even write it down? And then, like, I'd taken a while because I was traveling for work to get around to some edits on one of his stories. And I was like, hey, is this the latest draft? And he said, yes. And I'm like, okay, I've got time tonight to look at it. And I go to hit send, and I had just gotten an email from him saying, oh, I used these notes from this other person, and here's the newest one. And I'm like, I literally told you I was about to edit it tonight. So he's kind of on hiatus right now.
It makes more sense.
So I've also set very clear boundaries. He redacts any intimacy encounters because I'm not beta reading that for my dad. That's a clear boundary. He's fine with it. I'm fine with it.
As far as the critique stuff, I grew up I've been drawing since seriously since 5th grade. And I would go to my dad, who was also an artist, and be like, what's wrong with it?
So you get it from both sides, the writing from your mom and the artist from your dad.
My mom actually taught me how to draw a few things.
Not surprised.
So she's very much so a geometrical, like shapes, make
Sure.
an animal sort of
Okay.
artist. Where my dad like does cartoons and ocean views
Sure.
and stuff like that. So but the critique, I will often forego the sugary stuff or the nitty gritty for the what is wrong with my story? Why is it not working?
Sure.
Tear it to pieces.
Right.
Tell me what's wrong with it.
Yeah. So.
My favorite solution is, now that we've segued from beta reading, to ask beta readers to tell me what they love, tell me what they hate, tell me what they don't understand, tell me what throws them out of the story, and comment on anything that you feel and what is beautiful and I need to not touch.
I'm kind of doing that for Lauren Nettles,
Mhm.
Okay.
like off and on. Like
Yeah.
not this weekend, obviously.
Sure.
But vampire romance,
Okay.
kind of in the style of 90s fan fiction.
Sure.
And it's very nostalgic for me, and I do exactly that. I tell her all the things I love. I ask some questions that
There's no problem with people saying it's like, oh, I think you missed a comma here. I think you misspelled this. Is this
Stuff
the
like
word
that.
you want? Yeah, that's normal. That's
Yeah.
In a way, it's background noise, but people feel
sure.
better about pointing those things out to you. And it's
I
like
can't.
your published work is still going to have those things that slip through all of your readers.
absolutely.
So
I have seen the meme going around that says, "Here's to all of the edit or the typos that made it through 3 rounds of edits. You're a survivor." Which I thought was super cute. I actually did a beta workshop in here yesterday, to which one person showed up. So it was a very personalized panel or presentation, and we discussed her needs and things like that. But I was going to share my list of questions for my beta readers, which is, did the story capture your interest from the beginning? Was there a point your interest started to lag? When did you want to put it down and wander off? Or the description and you're trying to skim ahead? Were there parts that confused, frustrated, or annoyed you? Were there any conflicting details? Were the characters and dialogue believable? Was there too much of something? Description, narration, dialogue, action? Was the ending satisfying? And did you really connect with any of the story elements? So, that gets the, what am I doing right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm beta reading and I start talking to your characters, I've forgotten about the craft and I am into your story.
That is the ultimate compliment. So Morgan, I was very, very lucky with Hope's Chest, and Morgan beta read for me. And she did developmental stuff for me.
I've been trying to be more developmental, but it's a work in progress. Am I getting kicked out? Am I late?
Well,
I'm sorry.
Well, we are over time. It's 6:33, and there is something else scheduled in here for 7.
7, yeah.
But-
you're not.
So we still have some time to wrap up and carry on.
Yeah. Okay, well,
My
I'm
readers.
gonna pop into the chat real quick. Let's see.
So we're not neglecting
Oh.
our chat people.
Heather's puppy got so stressed, she slipped out the door while the hubby was going in and out with laundry baskets, and they had to go look for her. Oh my gosh. Luckily, there were some kids close to the building who she stopped to meet, and they herded her back in the right direction. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you got your puppy back.
That is so nice. I remember going for a walk when I was younger. And
Yeah.
I saw this puppy on the street, and I was just like, where did you even come from? And like, the dog was too small just to be out there to be a stray.
Mhm.
It was a girl taking care of him. He was just like, hey. I remember like his
People are
carrying,
cool.
so I picked him up, like carrying this puppy down the street because I was walking my dog.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And the first people I saw outside of their house, I was like, "Do you guys have a puppy?" And they're like, "Yes, we do." I found it up the street.
It looks just like that one. Maybe it is this one.
Oh my goodness. So
Okay.
thank you all for joining us live. We do this every week, although it usually starts at 4:30, but we got the window at 4 because of where schedules aligned. And 4:30 to 6:30, and some weeks we chat more than others. You can always mute us if you're in the groove.
And some weeks when someone's on deadline, we go into extra sprints all night long.
I did a 90-minute sprint once, and who is it that still dreams of that day?
Devin.
Devin
Yeah.
still dreams of that day. I was beta reading for a friend a middle grade novel, and for me, writing sprints are 20-25 minutes, but editing sprints kind of work a little longer. Better for me when they're longer. So, but yeah. Okay, well, we're going to do our outros, and then we're going to let you go enjoy the rest of your con. Thank you so much for joining us. We really excited people came.
Yay!
This is more fun with a live audience. Which does not mean that the folks online aren't live, but they give better feedback.
They have to bring their own snacks when you're online, though.
Is it true?
It's a struggle. I understand. So let's start with Sako.
Howdy neighbors, I'm Sako Tumi, also known as Voit. I write horror and I'm a witch and I'm a graphic designer, and sometimes I combine those three things. If you are interested in, I need to work on my outro, I guess.
Since you added more things.
Since I added all the things. You can Google Sako Tumi or Voit, and you can find all of my social media like right out of the gate. So drop a line somehow. I would love to hear from you.
And for the next 4 days on Kickstarter,
For the next 4 days on Kickstarter, you can look for the Hotaru Omnibus. Basically, we are trying for our second stretch goal. Hopefully, we can do that within the next 4 days.
Yeah.
And links will probably be in the description, question mark.
Doc?
okay. I am Doc Coleman. I write about mad science, manners, and mayhem. If you're interested in finding out more about my writing, then you can go to your favorite search engine and you can search for Doc Coleman Steampunk. And that will allow you to find my website at doccoleman.com. It'll help also let you find my Amazon author page, where you can see my published works and you can look at samples of them and decide if they're right for you or someone you love.
Dun, dun, dun. And I'm your host, Morgan Hazelwood. I am an actively queering fantasy author. I currently have one short story out by the Dark Recesses Press webzine. It came out in January of 2022, so you'll have to scroll back a bit, called Just a Hike in the Woods. That's a little horror-ish, but there is some definitely fantasy, supernatural element to it because fantasy's my jam. And other than that, I'm currently working on my space fantasy, which is like my 5th book. I've got 2 polished and 3 drafted. And the problem is I like to write and then edit and then write and then edit. Unfortunately, everything needs more than one editing pass. So the editing backs up a little, unfortunately.
Oh, I definitely understand that.
So it's a process, and I'm getting there. But I blog, vlog, and podcast writing tips from the pros from conventions like these, and my own writerly musings as I journey along the way. And so this week on my podcast, I had tips for writing combat. Where do you focus? On the blog and the YouTube channel, I had con prep, all the things where I discussed how I was a little overcommitted because I am wearing a writer hat this weekend and a panelist hat and a staff member hat. And I'm here personally and thought I was going to attend the con.
Foolish girl.
And I talked a bit about accepting your limits when they're all things that you are capable of doing, just not all of them at the same time. And so you can't get it done because you ran out of time or cope, even though you know you could do it. And that's what I find really frustrating. I'm on TikTok and Instagram and everything, and I have some shorts up this week. And let's see. And this week's author spotlight guest, who is our author spotlight guest? Like any of you are helping me.
We didn't think your outro was going on this long.
WordPress. Let me see who I did this week. This week's author spotlight interview was on Jacqueline Votman. So she writes a little more literary than I usually do, but it was Girl Country. It's a collection of short stories, and a near future farmer battling environmental crises takes in a mysterious girl he finds on the roadside. But it's a short story collection, so that's just one of the stories. They range from medieval Belgium to the near future of the American Midwest, populated by monsters and mothers and mermaids and milkmaids, nuns and bus drivers. So, Girl Country.
Monsters and mothers and mermaids and milkmaids.
Right? And I didn't mumble or stumble on any of this. So thank you all for coming, and we'll be back online until Imaginarium Road Trip Edition in July. So have a great week. Thank you all for coming and dealing with our live experience, and have a great week.
And
Bye-bye.
our overexposed faces.
Blurb. Have a great week.
Obviously, we